Hey there, this is Dave Julian, and this is a demo for one of my students to show how to remove this out of focus power line from behind this eagle in this great eagle shot. Now, Photoshop does have some automatic tools for removing power lines, but it requires that those power lines are pretty in focus and in a predictable pattern that's not blocked by other parts of the photograph. So this presents a very different problem, but it's easily fixed in two ways. One with AI and the other one with a little bit of old school retouching. Okay, let's try the former. So the first thing I always do is duplicate the layer. Whoop, clicked it too hard. Duplicate the layer, dragging it down to the new layer icon there. And here we go. So I'm never operating on the original. Now, there's a lot of tools for selecting, and what my goal is here is to select the sky around the branches. And then I'm going to literally paint that even blue sky over where the power line was. So a couple ways of doing that. I'm going to take this eyedropper and sample the sky color here. So now that's my forward color chip. And if I go to the select menu and choose color range, and then click in the sky area, I can now sample the sky color, and you can see that this is only a screenshot, so it's very, very buggy, and it's not anywhere close to what you would see if you operated on the high resolution file. But here I'm going to play a little bit with the settings because my idea is to get as much white as I can here without these little bits of fragments of distortion. So I'm going to increase the fuzziness, which starts to include other levels of gray in the shot. And the idea is to get as close as you can. I'm going to also try localize color to see if that helps. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Here it is not helping us to use it, so I'm going to turn that back off. And again, increasing the fuzziness simply steals more pixels adjacent to the ones that were sampled. Now, I can also shift click to add tones to this selection, but I'm pretty sure that if I do that, as I click here, it's going to start to grab some of the grays in the picture and hopefully none of the eagle. So currently what I have is a pretty good selection, and I'm going to just say OK. And now you can see that what's been selected is all of the blue sky, but there's still some gaps here where they have not been selected. That color of that out of focus power line is somewhere that is unique to the photograph. And so I'm going to try taking the magic wand, which lives underneath the quick selection tool, the default tool for this toolbar. And I'm going to take the magic wand and I'm going to hold down the shift key to add to the existing selection. And look at that. If I click carefully right where that blue tone is, it only selects that color. And sometimes I have to enlarge a little bit to work on this, so make it perfect. But again, this is a very low res screen grab, and so I have to operate a little bit more carefully than if I had a nice crisp screen grab. Okay, so I think I've selected all of the bits of this, this power line. Now I'm going to take my brush tool and I'm going to, again, use the sampling of color, the option key to sample the sky color. Going to go to full opacity. You don't have to. You can go to semi-opacity or what I call semi-flow. Make sure that this is on normal. And I've got a soft brush here, pretty good size one. And I'm just going to paint right alongside these areas that are still marked with the power line. Now this works because this is such an even sky. If this was a cloudy sky or something with more tones, this would be a little bit more difficult. But as you can see, it works. I see a little hole here. So I'm going to switch back to the magic wand. I'm going to hold down my shift key and select that little bit there and go back and fill that in. Okay. So zooming back out, I'm going to now drop the selection, Command or Control D, and mission is accomplished. Now, if this was the high resolution shot, then these branches would be much more clean and everything would be perfect. So that's the way to do it, using the manual retouching style method. Now, you can try to do this with AI, but it's still not quite that good, because you'll see why. I'm going to take the lasso and I'm going to simply make a selection around the out of focus power line, including sky. I'm doing this on a trackpad on the laptop, so a little bit slow compared to a mouse. Okay, so I've come around full, and now I've got everything selected. Now, I want to deselect the eagle, because if I use AI to try to fill in where the power line is and I have the eagle selected, you know it's going to mess this up. So I'm holding down the Option or Alt key, which is what we use in order to subtract from a selection. And I'm just going to carefully try to go around here where there isn't any power line, but I don't want the eagle involved. So I'm going to refine this just a little bit closer. And again, this isn't a high resolution file, so your results may vary. All right. So I have this all selected. One thing I should have done is probably save the original on a different layer, but okay, we're going to just go with it. So now, here's the AI floating panel. I'm going to go to Generative Fill, and I'm just going to say generate and see what happens without writing any prompt. So let's see what AI does. Let's see if it understands. I have a funny feeling it won't, but let's see. Well, look at that. Okay, so this exists now on its own layer. You get 3 versions, and if I show the properties panel, which should have been up here, but it's not, you could see the 3 versions that it's been giving me. So you can click through the versions to see which one is closest to what you want. They all have some eccentricity. Some of them add branches, some of them take away branches, and that might be actually an advantage here. So you choose the one that does the least amount of damage, and this one looks like the best to me, so I'm going to leave that there. And I consider this good. Your results will vary. So this is the AI layer, this is the original layer, as you can see, and then this is the manual retouch layer, which is the most accurate, but sometimes the most labor intensive. And of course you can go in and make little refinements with your brush, but this is pretty good. So I'm going to consider it good and end this demo. Thank you for watching.